Hey, also, here's the report for today. Had a good day. It was a quiet day. They changed some of the respirator settings so that they're changed. I don't understand it all. But anyway, the goal is to get him weaned off that so they can do those two procedures I talked about yesterday with the tracheotomy and the feeding peg. But they also added one other thing into that mix today that they hadn't talked about before, which is fine. And that is that they want to put a filter in the vena cava in the heart. And the filter is so that blood clots would pass through that filter and you wouldn't end up throwing a clot into the lung. And so, yep, absolutely, that sounds like a plan. Talked to the respiratory therapist about what she was doing with the ventilator settings and everything because the goal is to get him off that ventilator sooner rather than later. He's got to be strong enough and breathing strong enough on his own for them to do the tracheotomy. I know it's a weird looking thing, right, to do for your son. So to do tracheotomy so that he can breathe on his own long enough for them to get that done and get it installed. So he's just not there yet as far as that's concerned. It's largely due to that pneumonia. So we just need to continue to pray that that pneumonia clears itself up through the antibiotics that they're giving him and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the news on that. And so the still making good progress. We got there. He was sedated pretty heavily, and so we weren't getting as much of a response in the beginning, but we didn't see that as anything bad. He was just sedated pretty heavily, and so later in the day, pretty considerable movement of the head, movement in his legs, and opening that eye again, and all that. Still kind of you could see kind of rolling his eyes at some of my humor, or whatever it is. And then, so I'm feeling good about that, feeling good about where we are. We did, certainly hadn't gone back in time at all. We know right now that we just got to clear this thing up before we can really start making sort of significant progress. We had a good chat with a neurosurgeon, really like Dr. Campbell. We, got to have more personal chat. This is the first time it's not been like, what's going on? Is he going to live? Literally, the other two times we've spoken with him, he was very clear, not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. Still might lose him. That was the first day, and then also on Friday, just a few days ago. I mean, hey, when you think about how far it's come in a short period of time, and the panic that was last Friday, where we could have lost him as well. Hey, I'm taking quiet days with measurable progress, so I'm feeling good about that. So feeling good about all the things that are there. He was more positive, kind of upbeat and casual than he has been, which is always a good thing. So we just had a good chat. We know we're going to be there a while, so we're kind of settling in and hunkered down for that. And but believing God's going to do something extraordinary. I really do. I mean, I've already seen him do something extraordinary. So I'm certainly believing for more. We're holding on, believing that. It's played some of your music for him today, read some scriptures to him that you all have sent. Thank you so much for that. Wore that goofy Yankees hat with a flat bill and had a Prince button on the side of it too. That was something he had put there, not me. So anyway, we're feeling good about the day, and thank you so much for praying. And we're just watching God work day after day after day, and I'm thankful that He gave me this time to see Him at work. Because I can take so much for granted, and in ordinary life, and somebody's going to cut the yard apparently up the street. So anyway, that I just want to thank you all again, and just again give praise and thanks to God for what He's doing.